Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's episode of How to Get Away with Murder, which also is the season finale. Um, so sometimes I find that when they do these 2 hour season finales, basically what it is two episodes squished together. Not really squished, but just two episodes back to back. And sometimes that can feel like a bit much. And I kind of felt that way when I was about 15 minutes into the second hour of this finale. At the end of the first hour, we, we went through the motions of West still not believing Rebecca and him questioning all of her motives and whether she was being honest or not. And she had dragged Laurel into a lot of the questions that he was wondering about. So by the end of that first hour, I mean, they had their typical case of the week and it was fine. But because this episode was so long, or it felt so long, it's like by the time you get to the second episode, you don't even care about what happened with the episode before in terms of the case of the week and what that did for the episode. But what we find out at the very end of the first episode is that they've pretty much cornered Rebecca and they want to know the truth. They want to know, did she actually kill Lila? Because they now believe that she may have, or at least Wes does, because he's questioning everything and he realizes that the guy that was living in the apartment that before him, they tracked him down to the crazy loony bin place, and they realized that he knew Rebecca, that she drugged him with PCP, so they believe that she did this so that he wouldn't be able to testify that she came home wet after killing Lila. And as a result, did Rebecca ultimately kill Lila? And no. Did they believe her? Not really. But she does come up with a great story as to why she was wet, what happened that night. She tracked down the security guard that saw them all trying to smuggle Sam's body out of the home. And she tried to threaten them with the fact that she could track him down and get him to reveal what he saw that night. So at the end of the first episode, they have tied up Lila with duct tape and duct taped her mouth and have her in the bathroom, and Annalise walks in and she's basically like, what the hell is going on? So at the end, okay, so there were other things that obviously happened in the first episode, and, Connor was getting HIV tested with his partner or his boyfriend. And then, of course, it turns out that his boyfriend ends up being positive. Michaela, during all this process, she's freaked out that they were ultimately going to find her wedding ring. And so she had a fake one made up. And at the end, Laurel returns the wedding ring or her engagement ring back to her. And she had it the whole time. It was actually in Connor's car. And she knew that if she held on to it, then Michaela would never have said anything, because she always thought that there was the threat that ring could be found and it would reveal a whole lot. So she knew that as long as she held on to that, it was sort of a way to keep Michaela quiet. Of course, everybody on the team found out that Bonnie and Asher have been hooking up, because he opens up his big mouth and reveals it to Frank, not realizing that everybody is in the house and can overhear the conversation. So, there was a lot of that, sort of getting some reveals and some stuff happening with the rest of the team. Oh, and Michaela had a dinner with her fiance's mother, and her fiance's mother actually wanted the two of them to get back together, but she just knew that it was because her mother knows that her son is gay or bi or whatever, and that's why she's pretty much begging Michaela to come back and marry her son. So Michaela was like, you know what? No, I'm out. So that happens. So we got a little bit of, some more revealing stuff with the rest of the group. And, once the real story was actually being revealed, which was in the second hour of the episode, it felt a little bit stronger. And, the fact that Wes turned on Rebecca and was with the rest of them and wanted to know the truth and was pretty much going at her and was letting everybody else go at her. I loved when Michaela was like, if you don't tell me the truth, I will destroy you. And I like that because it's like, finally, these guys have done so much. They've sacrificed their own happiness for this girl. And she's so shady, you just don't know what's going on. So I like that she stepped up to her and that Wes was like, tell us the truth now. So then later on, Michaela brings up the fact that Wes's mother died when he was 12, and did she really die? Like, maybe he killed her. Like, she was just turning on Wes in a way that was kind of, understandable, but at the same time very cutthroat. So I like that. It's finally like the real Rebecca's coming out after all this time. So I like that. So ultimately, we start getting all these flashbacks to what happened 5 months ago. And then when Rebecca hooked up with Lila's boyfriend, and that that Rebecca was the one that texted Lila on her boyfriend's phone to say come over so that she would catch them in the act, so that Lila would see the kind of boyfriend that she really had. But all this time, Lila really did love Sam. And when they're on the roof, and we get to see everything actually play out, we see that Lila was killed and was in the water tank, and Rebecca found the body and got into the water tank because she was afraid that she was going to get caught when she heard people coming up onto the roof. And just before that, of course, Sam tells Lila that he loves her and that he doesn't love Annalise anymore, and that it really is Lila that he loves. And they kiss, and he's like, I gotta go. And she's like, where are you going? He's like, I gotta go tell Annalise the truth. I basically gotta go break up with my wife for you. And then when he leaves, he makes a phone call and he tells somebody on the phone, I need you to do what I asked you to do, or what we talked about, and because you owe me. So then this is, of course, when we see Lila getting strangled and ultimately getting killed. And then, of course, the camera reverses up to who it reveals, and it's Frank. Frank is the one who has done all this and is behind all of this. And at the same time, Frank has done a lot of cleaning up of messes and has framed a lot of people as a result of this. So one, he's clearing his own tracks, and yet he's helping everybody else out, which is really crazy. So it is revealed that Frank is ultimately the killer of Lila, and he puts her body in the water tank and leaves the scene. And so after all of this, we know that Rebecca has been tied up in the basement of Annalise's house, and they've been trying to get the truth from her. So when she finally reveals the truth to Wes, that she's innocent in all of this, and the reason why she, drugged the neighbor was because she was terrified that he was going to come forward and reveal that she was wet, and she really had nothing to do with the murder. So the truth comes out finally, but do they really believe her? I don't think they do. And then when they go back downstairs, or when Annalise goes back downstairs, she's gone. So everybody's freaking out because now they think that Rebecca's off to tell the police, and they don't know any different. So of course we also had other stuff going on with Nate, and Annalise had him arrested, then she had him beat up, then she had him freed, put out on bail, and then she faked that her and Sam and Nate had an altercation, and of course this was to show that there was a time when Nate had an altercation with Sam, so that is why his DNA is on his ring. So everything that she did was then to ultimately undo everything that she did and to get Nate off. So was Annalise doing a good thing? Well, it's Annalise, so she's always doing what's going to work best for her. But at the end of the day, she was trying to help Nate out. It's just weird. Her relationship with Nate is very weird. Her relationship with Wes is extremely weird. And her coddling him on the stairs at the end and him crying in her arms and her rubbing his back. You're just like, what is happening with this relationship? And when Bonnie says, she's basically telling everybody in the room that they've done all these things to protect these these kids and everything that they've done is their fault. She's like, for some weird reason, Annalise wants to protect you guys. I'm like, yeah, can we please get the explanation for that? Can it be revealed that she's like Wes's mother or something? Like, it's just weird, her obsession with him. And it, of course, is not revealed by the end of this episode, but they're sitting on the stairs and they're both saying Sam is the one who killed Lila. Sam is the one who killed Lila, and he ultimately is guilty of it, but he didn't have firsthand. He wasn't the one who actually strangled her, but he sent the person to do it. So of course, at the very end of all of this, Asher is being questioned now by the new prosecutor of the of Sam's murder, and so now we've got somebody new trying to get to the bottom of all of this, so now Wes has left the house. Annalise says to him, "Oh, we will find Rebecca. Don't you worry, we'll find her." And you're just like, "Uh-oh. Did she have Rebecca taken?" So she walks down the stairs and then she says to Frank, "Did you do this?" And he's like, "No, I thought you did this." She's like, "You thought I would be the kind of person that would do this?" And then he's like, "Now what do we do?" And it pans down and Rebecca is dead on the floor in the basement. Oh my God. So what? How do we get away with another murder? Like, this show is just crazy. I did enjoy it for the most part, but like I said off the top, it felt like this could have just been done, like they could have had last week's episode or this week as the penultimate episode and then next week as the finale, and it would have been fine as a 1 hour season 1 finale, but it felt a bit stuffed with it being 2 hours, and ultimately the first hour really not being much of anything except for the big reveal at the end that they had get bound and gagged Rebecca and had her in the bathroom, and Annalise coming to find them, because not much more was really revealed in that first episode. Yes, of course we know that there's doubt, and Michaela is seeing Laurel and Wes whispering to each other and is wondering what's going on there, but there wasn't a whole lot that was revealed in the first hour. So having everything in the second hour obviously was much better, and it felt like a more entertaining and on the edge of your seat type of an episode. And of course, we finally got the big reveal that Frank is the one who killed Lila, but now Rebecca is dead, and what is that going to mean moving forwards? Who knows? All right, guys, let me know what you thought of this finale of the first season of How to Get Away with Murder, and I guess I will see you when the show returns next season. All right, guys, that's it for me, and I'll see you later. Bye.